This is what I look in real life 99% of the time. You gotta love the skin you're in. I'm gonna start with my skincare products. So the first thing I use is this hyaluronic acid. I love using this because it helps my skin retain moisture, especially during the winter months. It's from the Icky List. I'm gonna just dab it all over my skin. After my hyaluronic acid, I go in with my First Aid Beauty moisturizer to help lock in the hyaluronic acid and for my skin to have like a nice smooth layer for that makeup. My window is right by a busy street in the highway, so I'm really sorry for the background noise. And last but not least, my sunscreen. This is very important. You need to start protecting your skin. I am at my 30s and I don't want no premature aging because of the sun. I do about a teaspoon of sunscreen all on my skin. I know I look crazy right now, but we're gonna blend it in. This is all gonna make sense at the end, I promise. And the sunscreen that I'm using is Dr. Dennis Gross Lightweight Wrinkle Defense Broad Spectrum Sunscreen SPF 30. A lot of women like to use SPF 50. I was using SPF 50 and it was making me break out. So I went down to SPF 30, and this one from Dr. Dennis Gross does not make me break out, so I love it. SPF 50 would be good for like if you're in the beach, if you're in a summer vacation, when you need like that protection, then yeah. So make sure you're blending the sunscreen really well to prevent any white cast. Once that is very blended in, now we're gonna go in with our actual makeup. The first step is I go in with this green Pearl Concealer. The green color is supposed to erase and conceal dark spots and red spots. So if you have any dark spots or any blemishes, this is perfect. So I'm just gonna go in and correct all of the little red spots I have. I have sun spots from when I didn't wear sunscreen, because back in the day I used to be like, oh no, I'm not gonna wear sunscreen, I don't need it. And now I have dark spots. This is an e.l.f. eyeshadow brush, and I use it to blend in my green concealer. And then on top of the green, we're gonna put actual concealer. So the actual color that you use to conceal your under eyes, you're gonna put it on the green. I'm running out of this. I usually go in between two concealers. I do either the e.l.f. Hydrating Camel Concealer or the Age Rewind from Maybelline. It's fine, you can mix and match. It's gonna get blended in anyway. And the same brush that I used to blend the green, I'm gonna take that brush, I'm gonna blend in the concealer. So I like doing this makeup when I'm going out, on date nights, work. This is for my full glam girlies. So if you don't like full glam, this might not be for you. I tried doing the whole 5-minute makeup, everyday makeup, and it doesn't work for me. So I do full glam all the time. I just love it. You gotta do what makes you happy and what makes you feel your best self. So this is me. Alright, so after I'm done with the concealer, I go in with the Dewy Smooth by Maybelline Fit Me foundation. I love this. And with this foundation brush, it's a round top blender. So we're just gonna grab the foundation and dab it all across our skin. So the areas where we concealed with the green, we're not gonna brush like this. We're not gonna do these sweeping motions, okay? Because you're gonna get rid of what you already concealed. So this is what I do. Right here in the cheek area, I like to go on my eyelids so that it looks like it's matching all of my skin. So for foundation, I usually do about half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of foundation. You can do less than that depending on how much coverage you need. But the more foundation you do, the more cakey your makeup can look. So I just try to do as little as possible, so about half a teaspoon. My next step is going to be, we're gonna conceal our under eyes. I'm gonna show you exactly the areas that I conceal. So I go here and here, so around the edges of my eyes, and I go up like that to create the appearance of like a lifted face. And I go on my chin, right here, on the bridge of my nose, and on my forehead. Now with the damp beauty blender, I just run it under the water and then just squeeze it a little bit and get the excess water out and just dab. And with the beauty blender, we're only going to dab in the areas that we just put the concealer on. So we are not gonna get into the cheek area or any of the areas where you have blemishes, because you don't wanna take off the concealed green spots. I like using the beauty blender for the areas that I highlight, because that way it just takes off the excess. Make sure we're getting under the eye. And the reason why we did here and here and here and here is to avoid creasing. You're already blending the concealer in the middle when you do the technique I just showed you, so it still does the trick. So now we're gonna bronze. I use Maybelline Instant Age Rewind, the same thing as the concealer, but I use it in the darker shade to contour my face. The new and improved technique that I've been using, and it's literally lifted my face times 1,000. So you just put it above your earline, so above that shadow. So you put it like right on your cheekbone. And then I do a couple of dots on my forehead, my nose, and a little bit on my eyelid. And we're gonna take the foundation brush and we're just gonna blend. And again, we're only gonna do dab in motions, no sweep in motion. So we're just gonna dab, focusing mainly on blending upwards. You wanna create that lift, snatched effect. See, it's already looking pretty blended. So on the eyes, we just like sweep. We can sweep on the eyes because I didn't put any green concealer. These are all techniques that I've learned along the way. I'm not a makeup artist, but it's worked for me and I just wanted to share it with you. So now that all the bronzer and the concealer is blended, just recently bought this from e.l.f. It's called Monochromatic Multi-Stick. It's supposed to be for lips, eyes, whatever, but I use it under right where I put the bronzer, but like under my eyes, and I blend again. So now that all of our cream products are applied, that's when I like to go in with powder products. Use cream products first and then powder. So my favorite setting powder, ever since I started using this, I've gotten so many compliments on my makeup, so many, because this illuminates it. This is the Loose Setting Powder Translucent color from Anastasia Beverly Hills. What I do is I take the pointy part of the beauty blender and then I go under my eye, like dabbing motions like this. And don't be afraid to put a lot, because this is supposed, they call this baking in the makeup world. I don't know if this is baking or if this is the proper technique, but this is what I do and it looks good. And then with the bottom part of the beauty blender, we're just gonna dab the product and we're gonna go right here. I don't know what this area is called, but right under that shadow. So we're just gonna slice like this. And this is gonna make your face look very illuminated, very bright in the areas that it needs to be bright. And then it'll make your bronzer, your powder bronzer, pop. So like that, we're just gonna let it chill there, depending on how much time you have. And then I put a little bit here, all those areas where I highlighted before with the liquid concealer. We're just gonna put a little bit of powder in those areas. So these areas right here. I know we look crazy right now, but trust me, this is gonna be cute. So after we're done doing that, we're gonna take the bronzing brush from e.l.f. So the same brush you use for powder, bronzer, whatever. So we're just gonna brush it off. The last one I brush off is the eyes. Because if you think about it, you want your under eyes to be the brightest, right? And then under the eye. Now we're gonna bronze with powder. So this is my all-time favorite. my all-time favorite bronzer. It's from NARS. I got it as a sample once in Sephora, never gone back. So this one is, it's called Laguna Matte from NARS. It's such a beautiful bronzer. So I take and I dab and I take the excess off by just shaking it like this. On the cheekbone, remember, lifted appearance. So we're gonna go up this area. See? A little bit more. Tap off excess. Almost towards your sideburns. Right there, and then whatever is left on the brush, I go right where I applied all the bronzing and cream, and we're gonna set it with the powder. I put some down here where whatever is left on the brush, under here to create that shadow and to create that defined jawline. And last but not least, on my nose. Here we're just gonna, this is what I do. I take the brush and I go like this. Brush off all the excess, and then with that, I go. If it ever like mess up doing your nose contour with the powder, just sweep it off like this. Then I take some and I put it on my eyelids as well. Now we're gonna take our blush, and I use this Cali Contour by Smashbox. It's still the same thing. We're gonna tap off all the excess under our eye and towards our sideburns. Don't be afraid to go ham on the blush, because that's the first thing that leaves your face. So we're just gonna, you know, add as much blush as we can. And then with this same Smashbox Cali Contour, I like to take the beige color. I think this is for like under eyes. And I put it as the base on my eyelid. I like doing this because it avoids any creasing from the cream products. We don't want no creases in our eyes. And then a darker highlighter that I like to use from here. And then I just go in and I put it on my eyelid on top of that base color. And it just, you know, gives you a little bit of eyeshadow action. If you don't know how to use eyeshadow like me, you just use your contour colors. Now, we're gonna do eyebrows and eyelashes. My eyebrows, I use this chocolate brown from Sephora collection. It comes with a little brush, and it comes on the other end with the color. I brush my eyebrows in the natural shape that they are, and I take the pencil and I go darker on the ends. And then when I go to the beginning here, I go light, because you don't want your eyebrows to look like they were painted with a Sharpie, so you want them to be as natural as possible. And then if for any reason you do go a little bit hard on the eyebrow and you look crazy, that's what the other end of the pencil is for. So then you just brush it off a little bit, and it takes off the excess. And I draw like a little line down here. Just go really subtle with the line you're gonna draw down here, because you want to give your eyebrow a little bit of shape, but you don't want to draw a very accentuated line, because you don't want to look like that character from Sesame Street that I'm thinking of that has like the really big eyebrows. I'm half Chinese and I literally have no lashes, so I need all the help that I can get. So I do this for about like 30 seconds. And then I use my Size Up from Sephora collection. And then a trick that I've learned is I can go to the base. Let's zoom in a little bit more. To the base of the eyelash. Do this motion. And it's just gonna like lift your eyelash more and give you a little bit of, it's gonna appear like you put a little bit of eyeliner because of this technique I'm using. See, like I'm going to the base and I start there and then I just curl it up. See how this one looks? Like I literally applied eyeliner. My eyelashes are probably the least favorite thing that I do because I don't have a lot of them. The one thing that I feel like I'm not the best at. We're gonna do our lips. So I like to lip line. I use this Sephora collection Dress to the 90s. I feel like that's very fitting for me. So I'm on a nudie vibe kick. I want my lips to look as natural as possible but still have a little bit of color. 02 and 75 Cream Lip Satin, that's what they're called. Today I'm gonna use 75, why not? A little bit darker nude. I gives you that pretty matte finish. Make sure you don't have a lipstick on your teeth. Okay, see, our face is lifted, our lips look plump. You could also add some lip gloss on top of this. lip gloss that I'm using is called Gloss from Sephora collection. I think it looks pretty darn good.